Good afternoon, everyone. Now, we are going to start a new topic, new concept, new term, that is economic terms. For the subject engineering economics, myself is Professor Shailesh Kokate from Department of Mechanical Engineering, Sharat Institute of Technology College of Engineering. So, we are going to study different economic terms. So we are going to study the very first term is GDP, is gross domestic product. Now, what is the definition or meaning of GDP? It is the total value of goods and services produced in a country during one financial year. It means the total value of goods and services, whatever the goods and services, goods manufactured in a country, at the same time the services provided at its cost in a country during one financial year is called as gross domestic product. Now, the GDP refers to the value of goods produced within the geographical territory of a country. So the important point is geographical territory of the country. It means that the people who reside in a country, the citizens who reside in a country, only those citizens who are in country manufacture a particular product or provide any kind of services. So that is only counted. Okay. Now take the example. India has a population of 130, or we can say 1.3 billion. 130 crore people are residing in India. Out of 130 crore, say 5 to 6 crore people are living outside of country. Many of people are doing their study in foreign country. Many of them are working in foreign country, but earning money over there and sending it back. So it is not counted. Out of 130 crore, 124 crore people are currently in India, and those earning in India, which is considered for a GDP. Now, the GDP is also measured by the sum of private consumptions and gross investment in the economy, government investment, government spending, and net foreign trade. So here a mathematical term is given for calculation of GDP in another way. GDP can be calculated as private consumption plus gross investment. Here gross means total gross investment plus government investment plus government spending plus trade off, or we can say balance of trade, or we can say exports minus imports. That is the balance of trade. We'll elaborate in detail about this matter. Now, private consumption means what? See, in India, the total food production is currently nearly 430 million metric ton. 430 million metric ton. Out of 430 million metric ton, India required how much? That is near about 360 million metric ton we consume annually. So out of 430 minus 360 means we can say 70 million metric tons remain. That is 360 million metric ton we consume is called as private consumption. Whatever, here we have taken the example of agriculture products. Okay. Now gross investment. Gross investment means total investment. Total investment in a country. Like we can say investment in terms of purchasing a vehicle. We can say investment in terms for purchasing of a land. We can also say the investment for purchasing a bungalow, house, or any flat. Means anything we purchase or anything we we made some investment, like we made investment into government securities, we made investment into gold bonds, that is sovereign gold bond of government of India. Also we can do some sort of other investment, that is share market investment is also considered into the gross investment, that is total investment. Also government investment. Now what is meant by government investment? Government invest its money into different bonds like infrastructure development bond in India and also abroad. Okay, now government spending. Government spending means what? Spending means expenditure. Government spend lots of money on different socio-economic programs for the development of a country. Like government spending annually some hundreds of crore rupee for development of satellite or missile technology. Government spending thousands of crore rupees for the construction of road, bridges, dams. So that cover under government spend. Government spend lots of money, like nearly about 30 to 40% on the salary of employees. So everything government do the spending comes under the government spending. Now here it is a trade-off, or we can say the balance of trade. So balance of trade can be calculated by using the term, that is exports minus imports. Now here it is a positive sign. This positive sign shows that when export is more and import is less, then this sign will become positive. Otherwise, when export is less and import is more, then this will be minus. This positive sign will be minus. Now, for more growth in GDP, we require more exports than the imports. Unfortunately, the India's trade-off is negative. India's trade-off is negative means India's export is comparatively less than the import. Means we purchase from abroad lots of items, like we purchase near about 3.5 lakh crores of crude oil. So for that purpose, import is increasing. Okay, so in India, the trade-off is is not in favor for India. It is always in negative. Now, the financial year generally we calculate in India from 1st April to 31st March. 1st April to 31st March. The uses of GDP we will see in the next slide. Okay. Now, one question may arise in your mind. What are the different methods or how we can calculate the GDP? Hello friends. So, there are different methods to calculate GDP. The one is income method. The second one is expenditure method. The third one is production method. We are going to study all three methods in detail. The very first, I am going to start with income method to calculate GDP. Now, in income method for GDP calculation consists basically following three important sub-methods or sub-factors. Okay. So which are those factors? One is GDP at factor cost. Means by using a national income, we can calculate GDP at factor cost. Similarly, by using the same method, we can calculate GDP at current market price. Now, finally, by using the same method, we can calculate GDP at current market price when adjusted for inflation. We'll see each and every content in detail in the next coming slide. Now, the very first method I am going to consider, that is GDP at factor cost. Now, we'll understand what are the different factors. So here I have mentioned different factors. So the very first factor is labor factor. The second factor is capital factor. Then third factor is entrepreneur. And the fourth factor is land or building. Okay. So these are four different factors we have broadly considered. Labor means the people who are working in organized and inorganized. The people who are working in government and also in private sector. The people who work in semi-government, means here we have taken the labors, total labors of country, the total capital. The entrepreneur means here sorry, we consider a small industrialist, from the small industrialist to a big corporate. And here we consider the land, the empty land, and the building, that is constructed site on the particular land. Everything we are covering into the factor. Now, how we can calculate GDP at factor cost? We'll see. Now, the labor. Okay. For the labor, we need to pay wages. So here, on the right hand side, in front of the factor, I mentioned here the incomes. Labor earn their wages. Wages means salary. The laborers work in industry, organization, or in any government establishment or semi-government establishment, and they earn daily wages, or they earn weekly wages, or they earn monthly wages. So labor earn income in terms of wages. Similarly, capital, the person who invests some money, and once he invests some money, he earns income in terms of interest. Take the example. We have deposited rupees 10,000. We have deposited 10,000 into the bank, and after 1 year, we get rupees 10,600 rupees. Means we get 6% of interest. So whatever the capital we invest, on that capital we get the income in terms of interest. Similarly, the entrepreneur, I already told you about. Entrepreneur may be a small entrepreneur, SSI industrial, or medium-sized entrepreneur, or maybe a big corporate. Once he or she invests some amount of money and start his or her business, then his or her income will be in terms of profit. Okay. So entrepreneur earns income in terms of profit. Now, the fourth point is land or building. Say we have a land or we have a building. We earn income by using land or building. When we can earn the income? When we give that land or building on a rent. Then we get income from the particular land or building. Okay. Now, so for calculating GDP at factor cost, we need to do summation of all this, that is labor earned wages. Then we need to add capital, it generate interest, so that need to be added here. And here the entrepreneur who earn the profit, we also add there. And here we can say a land or rent. So we can take the example. A person X who is working in a company Y. From that company Y, he earns some salary. So that is wages. And that out of that salary, suppose he earned 1 lakh rupees per month. Out of 1 lakh rupees per month, he deposited 50,000 per month into the bank. So by depositing 50,000 per month, he is earning some amount of interest. He has started again one small enterprise. Take example of he started a Xerox machine shop or maybe a stationery shop, and by using that money he is earning some profit. So that profit is again we need to consider. He has purchased some land and he has purchased some he has purchased some land, or he has purchased some building, or say hall, and offered to the rent, and he is earning some money from that land or building, or maybe any shop. So he is earning a rent. So GDP at factor cost is nothing but the summation of all 4 points. All 4 points. You understood? Now, so here we consider GDP at factor cost. Now we'll see the GDP at current market price. We'll see the GDP at current market price.